I'm going to give a quick tutorial. I'm going to put everything together, give you a bird's eye view. Now, I have the PE770 for a few years. I have several of them. Alright, now I'm going to give you a quick 1, 2, 3 to try to keep out of trouble. Now, I bought my machine from a dealer, from an experienced dealer. Their names are Mr. Vac and Mrs. So. They're in Wanto, New York, and them I highly recommend. I have their label affixed on the bottom of my machine. I'll show you that, real quick. But anyway, Mr. Vac and Mrs. So.com. They sell on Amazon, eBay, and out of their store also. All right. The thread that I use and the thread that I recommend is the Polystar brand of thread. That's Polystar. It comes in 63 colors. I think now there's a 64th. I think there's a navy blue that they added. And it comes in 2 boxes like that. Here's the second box, and I think the navy blue, I'm not sure, somehow they added in, they might be in here. I don't have that particular box that has that in it, but Lisa told me from the store. Anyway, the reason I recommend these particular spools, number one, you'll see the 63 Brother style polyester advertised. You'll see it advertised maybe $60 or something, but they're like 550 meters. This is 1,000 meter, number one, to begin with. All right, that's the main thing. And the other thing, you get a little pouch full of screwdrivers and a little thread and a few different things. They give you these, and initially when I got the machine, it tells you in the paperwork that you put these on the spool pin. Let me get one that doesn't have a hole or headlight, rather. Okay. All right. I used to use this, and not knowing how the machine worked, I had nothing but trouble. The trouble I was getting initially was check up a thread would come up on the machine. Check up a thread. So that was like a common thing. So initially, you don't know what actually to look for, but occasionally you'll see the spool pin with the thread wrapped around it, and then the thread basically is holding back, and the machine is trying to feed it. And you're going to wind up with that error, and the thread's going to break, and it could also screw up your stitches as it happens. So Lisa at the place where I bought it said, "Vince, don't use that plastic thing. They feed beautifully off it." I've never had a problem, and like I said, in this room I got two brothers, and I got one downstairs too. All right, so the Polystar is the thread I recommend. You could get it off their website. I believe they also sell on Amazon. Polystar, 1,000% polyester thread without the plastic thing. All right, that's the first thing. Put this in. All right, I'll jump to this right now. You're going to get one of these with the machine. I got to tell you, they have a little triangle on this portion, and on this portion there's a little triangle. I just happened to come across it. So what I did was I put black marker indicating that that's the triangle top, triangle bottom, and then I put 2 little arrows that this is the way they're designed to go in. And then of course, to put the hoop in, this particular hoop has 2 spots. Some of the hoops that I have 3 spots. They're designed for 3 different positions. Alright, now, see how this fits right underneath there? Sometimes when you got fabric in there, you'll find that this, even though the presser foot is up, it goes up a little more. And then of course you have like 2 rivets here. This goes on evenly, and then you push them down and you're going to hear a click. Okay, that's this tab locks it into place. The other thing, ordinarily they come with Oregon needles, or sorry, organ. Where did I get Oregon from? Now, here is the number. Here's where I'm telling you this. It's always good to have enough needles. All right. SAEMB 7511. This is the number 11. Embroidery Oregon needles, 100 pack, 10 in a pack. And I think they're $22 on Amazon. Get a big supply, 100 needles. And I'll use a needle for several projects. Several projects I use a needle. I use the same needle, and I did this on leather. See, on leather. That's the stabilizer in the back. And I designed this myself in the embroidery design software. All right, that's one of the things. The other things you'll learn when you're using stabilizer is that, particularly if you design something, see, like I made these up. Now you'll notice that there's a rise on the square. The square pulled on the thread. It pulled on the fabric rather, because it's very dense. Very dense. And then what I did was I made a test up, and I did this in my generations. I made 3 different circles, and then I made 4 different boxes, and I put script down at the bottom with the needle through, with the thread. And then what I did with this, you could see I used 2 layers of stabilizer, and I made this up. Sometimes I use 3. I made this up indicating that this held the shape reasonably well. Very little puckering around there. Here's another one, very dense. This is a test. And I think it did the orange first. It did the orange, and the orange on one stabilizer. This is one piece of stabilizer. It pulled the design because of the way the stitches go. When it's stitching it out, you can see this is very dense, right? And then when I did this, you could see it didn't fit right. The machine doesn't know that the fabric's moving relation to as it's doing the stitches. And then I did this too. I did this, and I made a little note up here. I used KK 2000, which is a sulky temp adhesive. You know, I did a test on here, and you could see the fact that it's so dense, it pulled. It could have used another layer. All right. So you do tests like that. I showed you the thread. I showed you the needles that I recommend. Another thing people ask me about, the machine comes default with the embroidery style of thread. style, which means that black, for example, would be a 900, like this. Okay, white is 001, and so on and so forth. If you had a country style, the spools would be different numbers on the spools themselves. If you had Madeira Poly Neon, Madeira Rayon, or Sulky, Robinson Anton, you would set the machine. Now, I'll show you real quick how to do that. Carriage is going to move, okay, it's centered itself. All right, that's the central position, the starting point. So now you hit the little page, like I said. Just happened to stop at name of color. Now, with name of color, when you put a design in, say you have a USB, and I tell everybody when you get a new USB, and not every USB will work. I use Micro Center USBs, and Micro Center, they're online, microcenter.com. And this happens to be 2 gigabyte size. You put this in your computer and you format it. When you plug it into the computer, computer may make a tone and then come up with a letter and the size in gigabyte of the thing you just plugged in. What I usually do is I right click on, just say this comes up as E. I right click on it and I rename it Brother PES number 2. Right? I put that on so that when I plug it in, the computer will recognize this as my number 2. All right. Then the next thing you want to do is you format this, even though it's new, in FAT32, FAT32. You let it format, and then it should be ready to work on the machine. And I recommend you only put 1 or 2 designs on each one, because you're going to have trouble finding it. See, when you plug this into the port, I'm not sure if I could do it on this. Yeah, okay, I did it. I'm not done though. All right, name a color, and if you click this, I want to go to embroidery. Time. That means that it'll give you the thread count, and you'll see them count down. Needle count. 1, 2, 3. Embroidery. Okay, this is embroidery style thread with the numbering system. Polystar is a brother type, which is embroidery type thread. All right, so I got that set, and then you go back and I plug the USB in on the side, which you don't see. I got it plugged in over here, and now you press the icon for a USB. It retrieves it. Okay, now here I happen to know what that is. That's one picture. That's another thing. That was a test. I don't have that handy enough to show you. All right, so I only have 2 things on there, like I said. Now, if you want to, you select this, and then you unpack it. You press this. Machine will load it. The machine will tell you there's 1 of 15 thread changes. That's what that means, thread changes. The first color it's asking for is the 005, so you go right into your little store, and the 005, you pull that out, .005, so that's the color it's asking you for right now, which is sort of a gray. All right. And then, all right, that's, you put the first color in, and then of course you have your fabric in there that you want to do. And I'm going to show you what this actually is. Okay. What this artwork is this. And that's a JPEG of my wife when she was younger, and that's done on a PE770 machine. Alright, that's the back. And I use white denim. But that's one embroidery that I did. Here's another embroidery. This is on it's on velvet. Could have used a little more stabilized. You see a little puckering. I did use the sulky clear water soluble over the felt. It protects the felt. I use the water soluble, but you know, that's a little thing I made up. And then of course you could use a 12-inch. You could use a 5 by 12-inch hoop on this machine. This was hooped. The 5 by 12 that you can buy that go in these machines. And what you do is you design a picture. Here's a picture, and it can't go over the I just say 4 by 4 or maybe 5 by 5. Okay, then you get this done. You move the hoop, and now the needle is over the center area of this area, and then you load in this that you can make up with certain software. See, Brother PE770 5 by 12 ellipse multi-position hoop, and this is by Vince J. Curie. This is done on blue denim, and this is 2 different designs on one piece of fabric. All right. All right. So that's a lot of the basic stuff, and of course, I show people this. A lot of the problems that people have. Also, what they play around with the tension. You know, they play around with the tension in the machine. You go here. You press this. I have it set up in inches. Buzz on, yes. Brightness. You could adjust your brightness of the screen. Here's your total count, your total stitch count, your number, and what the purpose of the number is if you go to embroidery.com, all right, you sign up, you put your email in, they're going to ask you for your machine's number, the type of the number. So you'll put in P770, and then you don't put the serial number in, you put this number. Now this is a registered number that you're looking at. All my machines are registered. So you put the number that's in the machine, and that will tell them that this is the machine you're using it on, and that design that you buy, if you have 2 brother machines, you would have to let them know there's a second machine that you want to put down as being able to use the design that you purchased, which are like Looney Tunes and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things you could do to have fun. Like for example, here's one of them. And once you buy it, it'll work on the machine or another brother machine. Here's the version. You need at least 1.2 to be able to go on the embroidery site. All right, and there you go, you're back. All right, you want to move the hoop out of the way. One is going to move, and it goes to the left. Goes to the left. Like I said, the needles, they last me quite a while anyway. And you can cut the stitch with this little thing. Over here you got the lever for the auto threader, which you bring down. And what I recommend, see this steel right here? What I would recommend, highly recommend, especially if you do a lot of thread changes. All right. You bring this down a little bit, and you see this shaft here? There's another shaft there. Well, the mechanism under here slides up on one of the shafts, and it's a press fit. So every so often you press it, because if it falls off, it's in 3 parts, and you'll freak out. You'll freak out to see 3 little parts down there. I got a video on how to put that together. All right. The other thing, of course, is let me take this up. I'm removing the hoop. When you take the hoop out, it's best to lift it up from the far side away from you. It seems to come out better. Now down here, there's a plastic cover, and that cover you could pull towards you. You could push up over here. You could pull here, and that clicks and locks, and you can lift that up out. See? And then of course you could look down there and you could see your bobbin down below. Now, an important thing with the bobbin, just about. We could just about see it. All right. See if I can tip this a little bit. Okay, on your black bobbin case, you got a triangle. Black triangle and a white dot. White dots on the metal. And this bobbin should be all the way down, seated down, and it should have a little wiggle in it like this, which is normal. Like this, little wiggle. As long as these are lined up. Gotta have the white things lined up. Like right now it's not. And you could take this other plate off too. Take the metal plate you could take off to really get access down below. Because a lot of times you get a lot of lint. A lot of lint gets stuck down below. All right. So that's the right position now for it. And you got your dots lined up, and you have this little wiggle like this. And your dots have to be lined up. Then you put this back, you clean down in there, you put this back. Now, it's always smart to take the bobbin out. And you take your bobbin out, you put this back. Put this back, and then it slides away from you under there. Then there's a little notch over here. You pick that up, take this out to put your bobbin in. And the little picture here shows you the rotation of the bobbin. This drops in. All right, take that back. Here you have a piece of plastic. The thread goes under that, into this groove, into this channel. See, make sure it's unwinding, and then when you get it right here, there's a cutoff. I cut it right there, and you put this back. That's it for your thread. And then, you know, you thread the top, and that's in a nutshell. Vincent Curie, I thank you for watching, and I got 570 videos. Some videos are for people who like building and welding and different things like that. These are some of the things in my world of machines.